Howdy ho folks, and welcome to another Redstone concept. Today I'm going to show you how to turn a dropper into a barfer. So when I refer to a barfer, I'm basically talking about a dropper that continually spits out its contents. And what I've got in front of me was one of the more simple designs that still works in 1.7, but I'm running the latest snapshots and I'm actually having some trouble getting it to work. Inside here I've got a few pieces of stone, and I'm going to show you when I put it in, it doesn't work. But what used to happen is that this comparator block would send signal to this block, to this piece of redstone, power this block, and somehow the dropper would get powered through here and would kick out at least one item. But this one had a major flaw in that if you put any more than one item in at a time, it wouldn't barf out the contents. But let's say you had a situation where all you wanted to do was one item at a time. This would work just as well. So if you want something like this to work reliably in 1.8, I've built a similar version here. This is just off the top of my head of how you could get it to work and avoid this sort of kitty corner issue. So what I've got here is comparator block feeding this redstone torch here, that piece of redstone, this torch here, and there you go. That's how it all works. So I put one item into here, and it should spit out. There you go. And I can use this to demo the fault of this one, which is if I put more than one item in, it spits one out, but then won't spit out the rest. So in order to get it to continually spit out its contents, we basically need to attach a clock to this whole circuit that will continually tick so long as there are items in the dropper. And since we're using the comparator block anyways, we might as well make that clock a comparator clock. So what I've got in front of you right here are three different versions that use that clock and will make the barfer function as intended. So each of these have their own kind of pros and cons. Obviously they have different footprints. I will say that they also have different operating speeds. I tried to keep them as fast as possible considering their designs. With that said though, I'm going to recommend this one because it's only 3x3, so it's a nice square and it's one block tall. You can point this dropper in a few different locations. You can point it this face or this face. You can also point it down. It can be pretty useful. Pointing it up in this situation actually does not really yield much, and pointing it any other direction back here obviously is going to run into some issues. Okay, so let's see it in action. We've got this dropper. It is completely full. We're going to supply it power and it's going to start barfing out. And that's about the pace that it's going to barf stuff out, and that should be about 0.2 of a second. I think there's a little bit of a redstone lag. I'm going to stop it here. I don't want to hear the constant clicking. I think there's a little bit of redstone lag in the latest snapshot, but basically it should be 0.1 of a second, 0.2 of a second, and then this wire powers the dropper, which should add maybe another 1/10 of a second. So it should fire these things out at what feels like a 0.3 of a second kind of rate. Now, this design is only 2 blocks wide, 1 block tall, and 5 blocks in length, so obviously it's a little bit longer. Again, I'm going to fire it up here. You'll see the pace of it. Feels about on par with that one, so I guess you could use it however you please. Again, we've got a comparator block, a repeater, and a repeater supplying the full strength comparison signal, and that's it. So this last one is 2 blocks wide, 2 blocks tall, and 4 blocks deep. But it does have a bug with it, and it doesn't appear to be wanting to work when it's completely full, unlike this one, which is odd because it's basically the same design. I just am powering it from the block above rather than block to the side. But at any rate, I'm going to get it going here, and you'll see that it's about the same pace. So there we go. Basically the same pace as all the rest. But when I fill it up, you see it stops working. Now to demonstrate when it's just shy of full, it will work. I'm just going to do this, put the lever on there, and take 1 block out. I'm going to let it go. And you see it starts working. So that's it for the barfer, folks. I've actually used this in a couple different scenarios. The first one's pretty obvious, and that's just sort of item disposal. You can have these things sit over a block of lava or cactus and have the items be destroyed. You can also have them spit into the void in the end. But I've also found that it's actually quite useful in moving items in the down direction. Now this is possible with hoppers, but why use so much iron to build a ton of hoppers to move items in the down direction if you can basically just create a shaft that contains the item and have these barfers spit in the down direction and have them drop the items all the way down, let's say 200 blocks, onto another hopper, and then that takes it into whatever sorting system you have, or maybe a water retrieval system, something like that. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it comes in handy for you, and I'll see you next time.